Hi. I am back finally after a lot of technical issues and also working on a lot of stuff. As you guys might not know, wait, Jesus Christ, my track is crazy today. Sorry for the mouth tracking, it may be weird in the beginning. As you guys, if you guys actually can see, I have actually done some rework on my model again. First, there's one thing I hated very much, but I had all the time, which I actually forgot to mention, or forgot to remove. And if you look, my lips, now I have classic anime lips, but also the tracking doesn't like it today. So as I said in the beginning, if you look on Twitch, expect a messy stream, because I didn't have time to set this up. So yeah, it's gonna be a messy stream, that's for sure. But one of the reasons it became I chose for this to just be a very messy stream instead of having planned anything is because I've gotten kind of addicted to something now, which is finally making the other people in my series, because for those of you who don't know, I haven't really explored my lore per se, and I can't I can't explain it because, well, my lore is different because in a way that I am, how do I say this, I am making a manga series which I've been planning for like 10 years. I know that sounds like a lot, and by planning I mean writing down a bunch of things, planning out the story and all that. So I know everything about it, like how it's supposed to go, but I haven't made many characters. I've made, well, me, Enrix, and it's also kind of weird because, fun little story for you guys. Okay, so now we're going to real world territory now. So let me explain just in a sec. Ever since I've been little, okay, I have not really had anything where like I was, how do I say this, like, you guys know that in a certain, up to a certain age, you're actually not conscious about what you do. I mean, I think it's like, for some it's like when you get to 10 years old or 12 years old, you actually start to become very conscious about what you're doing. I don't know if it's true, but I think I've read some studies that says that there's a high probability that when you are a child and until you get to a certain age, you're actually not conscious about many of the things you do. You're not even conscious about like what is right or wrong, which also makes sense in a way because you have your parents who have to tell you what is right and what is wrong. The other thing about this thing is, this happened to me when I became 10 years I became 10 years old. When I got to the age of 10 years of my life, and I know this might sound very fucked up, but that's only because what I'm going to tell you guys is gonna be mistaken a lot, because I know many people think when I explain the story to them, they think something disgusting and perverted. Also messed up, they think it's a very messed up story because they have something weird in their mind going, like they're very perverted and fucked up. But without that, I'm going to explain to you guys how I got my name Enrix and how everything happened. So without disclosing anything about my real life, like too much at least. I was a 10-year-old boy who really loved being outside, despite many people actually playing games and trying consoles out for the first time, and the internet became a very big thing. Very big thing, especially YouTube. I was that kind of kid who both played games, but actually mostly preferred being outside, playing in the fields. I was living in like a fun place where I was living in between two cities, so I could just walk, like I think it was like 100 meters walkway from one city to another. I had a lot of friends in the city I wasn't living in, and at some point I began to have a lot of times where I stopped, just for some reason I didn't really, it's not to say that I didn't talk to my friends, I didn't play with them. It was more like I was slowly for some reason not as much together with them as I was in the beginning. And it got to a point where I began to daydream a lot, which is something I still do, and I know other people also do, but just wait and listen. What happened was, one night, this is where everything changed for me, and this is where my mind and everything really, let's just say, changed everything in both that time a very depressing way, but also a saddening way, very sad way, but not to the, I don't know. It's weird to explain how it is, because today I don't think of that story as depressive. I think of it as, well, it got me to where I am today. But what happened is, I went to bed one night and I had this dream. And mind you, I am those kind of people who can remember most of their dreams in detail, and I mean detail, very much detail. And what happened was, I had this dream. I woke up. And I need to remind you guys, I was 10 years old, so what I'm about to say next might sound fucked up and you might get perverted thoughts. But that was not what happened in this dream, I can guarantee you that. And for some reason, even if you don't believe me or not, I rarely ever get those kind of dreams, if ever, because it's not fair. I don't know, it's unlucky. I'm not allowed to. I always have dreams where I'm myself, also look like myself, right, like I look like right now. But what happened was, I went to bed this one night, and I woke up in a completely different world. And this world, mind you, before I explain more, is what I've been in for like, what I think is about 10 years. Because every single night, until that one night, until that one night I went to sleep and I woke up in a different world. Every next time I went to bed, I at least had like 3 to 4 dreams where I was living in that world. And also the world I was living in, how do I say it? It was so vivid. I actually thought I was living in another world. And also one thing to notice, I'm very hard to get immersed. It's very hard for me to get immersed in other worlds, other things. Also, in what we today call virtual reality. I'm never really immersed in those games. Even horror games have gotten to the point now that they also don't feel immersive anymore. So my mind is just very hard to trick into thinking that this is another world, or even if it's temporary, even if it's for a few seconds. And the same thing goes for dreams. Like right now I know I'm awake. Right now I know that I'm not dreaming, because I feel another level of immersion. And I don't know how to explain it, but every time I was dreaming, I never really felt like even close to how real this like right now feels. But this one thing, like this one day when I went to bed and I woke up, and then I woke up in a very big, I think it's way bigger than a king-sized bed. And I know what you're thinking, how can there be anything bigger than a king-sized bed? But I woke up in a king-sized, like double, maybe triple, even maybe king-sized bed. It was me laying there in the middle of the bed, and yes, I looked like this, like at least very close to it. Not exactly, but this is what me and Rex looked like in that dream. And I woke up like very, very slowly, like very, very slowly. And I noticed that there were two people close to me, like two girls. One was, I don't know how this is possible, because that's the, you can't really lay like that in a bed. That's not physically possible. But one girl was laying in front of me, hugging me, and the other girl was laying behind me and hugging me. And you guys, this is where what I said before, you guys might already think now that, oh, perverted. No, because that's not what happened. I suddenly actually started crying. I started crying, but not because I was sad. I was so happy. I know this might sound very weird, but I was literally crying and so happy at that very one moment. Because the only thing I was thinking about was I had two girls who I, for some reason, in some weird way, could feel that they genuinely loved me. And I could just feel the warmth of their love. This sounds so cringe, but this is literally what happened. I was frozen. Felt like I was like, not frozen, well, in slow motion in time. Just so happy that two girls, I know it sounds weird to have two girls, but it was two girls, okay? They just hugged me, and then we all slowly, like, I was obviously awake before them, but then they slowly awoke up, and I was still a little bit confused at where I was, because this was so real. I felt like I was actually in the world. And I woke up slowly, and they like push themselves a little bit away so they can stand up. Well, not stand up, but sit up in the bed. And then I say good morning, and well, since I don't know what I am, I could see, I haven't seen myself in a mirror yet in that world, but I could see my hands look different, like way more, like, how do I say it? Way more like anime hands. And mind you, one thing I need to tell you guys, I didn't know anime was a thing before I was like 13, like 10 or 13. Sorry, not 10, like 12 or 13. I didn't know anime was a thing before like 12 or 13. And this happened to me, this dream, when I was 10. So I didn't know what was happening. I was confused at this point. Like, I've never seen an anime. Well, of course I've seen Pokemon, but I was not a Pokemon fan. I didn't really watch it. I like saw 3 episodes when I was like 6 years or something like that. I didn't really see anything at all. The only thing I actually did a lot was play a lot of Lego games and explain to me how that makes sense to this dream. Nothing makes sense to that dream. So when I woke up and I said good morning, one of them said good morning, Enrix. And I shit you not, this is actually why, like, this is how I got my name. I didn't really know what my name was, but she called me by that name, so I guessed, well, that must be my name. And, well, I didn't actually get to know what my last name were, like, way before, and long way in all dreams for some reason. Because we only say our first names, for some weird reason. But I woke up and I was like, okay, good morning. And then I was good. I was like refreshing, like, you know, you're kind of tired when you wake up, you just want to go out to the bathroom and brush your teeth, whatever, like that, cliche, whatever. I walked out to the bathroom, and then I saw that I looked like this, or very close at least to this. And I was like, is that me? What? How? So I I was like, whatever, I'll go brush my teeth. And then I noticed the two girls are standing right beside me and doing the same thing, brushing their teeth. And then after that, I go out to take some lunch. And then I notice the same two girls sitting at the same table, eating breakfast at the same time I'm doing it. After that, then I walk out, like go for a walk out into the city. And then I notice the same two girls are still following me. And then I figure out that we literally are in some kind of relationship where we're literally like boyfriend, and I have two girlfriends. It was kind of weird, and I was both their boyfriend, and we had some kind of agreement which I didn't have any reason to go against, because who would? That's weird. But they said that the thing we agreed on was if we're gonna be together, we gotta do everything together. I was so shocked. I was like, what? Excuse me? Does privacy not exist? And then I was like, you know what? I have nothing to complain about. I got two cute looking ladies by me all night, all day, all night. Why would I complain? So I obviously went with it, and then I got into a routine of it, and me and the two other girls still stayed together. Which, if you think about it in real life, such relationships can exist, but they rarely ever last. If like at all, they never last long. But me and those two girls, we never really, well, of course we went into fights to each other, like we had fights together and things we didn't agree on, but still we kept being together. So for some reason, even though it sounds weird and it shouldn't really be possible, in the real world, me and those two girls kept being together every day. Like, we are not clinging at each other, that's not what I meant. Like, we were obviously always, we had times where we need to be alone, but we still kept being in a relationship with each other. That was so weird, but it kind of made me happy, and I kind of understand why they were also happy, because I didn't, like, I kept thinking that I have two girlfriends, I need to be double as productive, like I need to be double as entertaining, I need to do everything double. But they were actually for some reason, like, they were saying like, oh, you don't have to worry about that, just be you don't have to do extra, only if you want to. And well, I also said the same to them, because yeah, I don't know, we just agreed on it. Like, it was like, no matter what happened, even if we were in an argument that could in real life had ended up being something that could have made us break up, we never really broke up. It was like a rule, like an unconscious rule, like not a rule like as in we're not allowed to, but it was more like we just wanted to be together, even if, I don't know, something bad happened. And the one thing that happened, one thing happened after another, and like we went on a lot of adventures, a lot of vacations also. We also went to other worlds where we played students and we walked to school together and all kind of things. Like, we literally had so many lives. Like, we looked at as the same people always, but we traveled to many different worlds and places, and we also had powers and stuff and like that. And I slowly, like one day we woke up in another world where we all, like, we lived in that world. Like, we felt like we were connected to that one world we woke up in at this point. And this world is actually connected to my manga story, because literally just the fun thing about this manga story is there's not much of the story that's made up. Much of it's just dreams. So I'm literally just explaining to you guys through my manga series and showcasing you also what I've done, like what worlds I've been to, what I experienced with those people. And I met, of course, a lot of many other people in that world and many other worlds. And that's why I can't really explain to you guys my lore, because it's just too much of it. Like, I've had these things for like 10 years. For like when I was 10 to 2020. And this is where I sort of got depressed a lot, because when I got to like the 10 year, like imagine like this, the first 6 years, like between 6 to 8 years, I had a lot of dreams, and I still had dreams for those girls and other people up until like 2020. But for some reason, like after the 6 or 8 years, I slowly had less and less dreams with them. Like I woke up in different other worlds where I was alone, or I was kind of separated from them, in a sense that I couldn't find them. So the last, not these 2 years, but the last 2 years or so, 2+ years or so, between, well, that must have been like 2017 to 2020, I'm literally just having a lot of more dreams where I've been searching for them, and like some of the dreams I was together with them. So I was literally just continuously searching for those girls. Like I couldn't find them anywhere. I could find all the other people I've met, but I couldn't find those 2 girls. And I kept searching, and I never really found them. And at some point, when I got to 2020, I just stopped altogether. Like I haven't had a dream of being together with them or seeing them at all in the other world ever since 2020. And it kind of made me depressed, because I literally lived a second life, if you think about it. It was really weird, but I literally lived a second life. And then I noticed that like a lot of VTubers was popping up, like also around 2020 or 2019, I don't know. Like a lot of things started popping up, a lot of VTubers popped up, and I was like, wait, I can be this? I can be Anrex? Literally. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be Anrex. And I know this might sound weird, I don't know this sound like I'm a person who believes in the unbelievable. But I honestly hope that by doing this one thing, that at one day, even if it's I don't know how many years into the future, that I will see them again. Either in my dreams, or maybe even in real life. And that's why I said like, I sound like I'm over-believing and stuff that shouldn't be possible. But that's literally like one of the reasons why I'm here. The other reason is also because I just want to be Enrix, like me. I want to be myself. So that's kind of the closest I can get to explaining my lore to you guys about who I am. Well, in terms of race, because of the world I lived in, everything was different. Like, let me keep you in mind that obviously I have a human brain. I can't just remember everything that ever existed. So there are gonna be some things that is left out. Like, I know my race, I know what their race were and all that, but there are a few things that I've forgotten, but I obviously, because I'm a human, I can only remember that much. I also have other things to keep remembering if I want to be able to survive, like going out buying groceries and researching stuff for stuff I need to learn and all that. I can't just use only my brain for what I wanted to, so there might be things that sound off, or like I've forgotten to say something when I explain about stuff. And that is the reason, likely, that I can't remember it all. But, so I'm starting, as I also said in the beginning of the stream, I'm beginning on starting to making the series, finally. find, like, ever since that night, I've been trying to keep remembering everything, every dream. Some of them even written down. Also the dreams that I didn't have about them also written down just for inspiration. I don't have many dreams written down. I have like maybe, I don't know, 100 to 200. I don't know how many I've stored. I also have some of them posted on the internet on some weird sites. So what I am doing right now is actually I'm putting on hold on continuing writing the story, because obviously since it's dreams I can't really get the full information about the story, because I also have to wake up in the real world and live there, so I can't really just go back and forth or like only live in one of the worlds. That's not how it works. So what I'm doing now is making the characters for my universe. So obviously the main character, cliche, is me. I have, to be more exact actually, I'm only one of the main. There are like, we are 3 main characters, me and the 2 other girls. I have made one of the other characters in the world, which is actually, was never really part of my dreams, because like I had a figure who closely, like, not resembles like visually or appearance wise, but I had like a figure that did something kind of similar to what the new character is. And if you guys know who I'm talking about my friend Spvwvky, which also calls herself Yuppie, and now she's actually decided, which I'm kind of glad about, but only because I missed that world I've been in. She has actually considered and also did the thing, like she changed her name, so now her name is Spvwvky, which we decided to be her name in the manga. So her name is Spvwvky Yuppie, and I don't know if she wants to stream in the future. She said she would like to, but she don't really know much about the technical stuff of streaming or how to set things up. I said I would help her, but I have a tendency to over-explain things, being too technical, because I forget that while I might be able to remember and understand a lot of information spoken to me in a very fast manner, many people might have a difficulty of keeping up, and maybe I'm giving too much information at one time. So I also gotta think of that. So maybe in the future she wanna stream, also as a VTuber or as someone who streams a lot in VIA chat, because VIA chat is literally like the game she plays. And I have kind of promised her I would play with her more in VIA chat. And well, we also both have different things we need to do, so we can't be on every day. But I'm working towards making the universe where it all, like, where she can be intertwined into the story. So as I've said before, so I am half, well, for now it's just easier to say this, but I am actually 3 races at once. Like, I'm a hybrid. I'm quad human, quad vampire, and half guard. And just short information, my friend Spvwvky is like, she's a guard, she's full guard. And one thing also to notice, as I said before, the races in the world I come from work very differently from what you guys would consider normally how the races work. Like, let me give you an example, okay? Vampires, they work very different in the world I come from, or the universe, or whatever you may call it. Vampires, like, are more like, well, the vampires are kind of the same, but they have the ability to evolve into new vampires, and then they just, like, the first vampires literally just die out. So they kind of evolve, kind of like humans do. So the difference is the vampires from my universe, they don't need blood to survive. It's more like more like a luxurious thing they get, or it's something they do, like suck blood out of the only one they love, like someone they're together with. Or it can also be used as to boosting their, like boosting or enhancing their physical abilities. Like, let's say you wanna be a little bit stronger, like physically, or you will have more endurance against I don't know, fire or something. I don't know. You can drink blood, and that can basically just boost up your resilience or resistance or anything. You know, like it's basically just enhancing everything in your body when you drink blood, and that literally goes for all the vampires. Though mind you, there are different types of vampires in the universe. The vampire I am part of, at least genetically, is the same kind of vampires I just explained to you guys before. Like we don't really, well, the only like weakness, like the only thing is we actually not that strong. We are weaker during the day, but we can't be out in the sun. We can be out in the sun. We can do literally everything that a normal human can do, like in normal living standards. But we are stronger in the night, obviously. And during the daytime, we can easily be outside, no problem. We don't have to wear a lot of clothes or anything. We do whatever we want. Like that's literally the only thing. Like during the day, we are weaker. But also, mind you, if you are in hybrid in the series, it doesn't really do much. Like, sure, we are still weaker if you're in hybrid. Like my brother in the series, which I am currently working on right now. Sounds weird, but I'm working on making my brother in the series, because me and my brother, we have the same father, but we don't have the same mother in the series, which is also true to the universe, or the dream world, or whatever you might say. And he and I, well, we share the same father, as I said before, but he is half vampire, half god, while I am, as I said before, quarter human, quarter vampire, and half god, because our father is, well, he's a god, full-blooded god. And also remind you guys that a god is a race in the world I'm from. It's not an entity which just pops up in human form, in a humanoid form. It is literally a race. The god race works a little bit like it resembles things that might be considered godlike, but we are not actually gods in that sense, but we are. It's kind of weird. So one thing is that all the gods, like all people who have like god blood in them or whatever, they cannot die of age. They can still die like in any other way, but they can't die of age, which is kind of the thing about the gods, which is, I don't know, it's weird. But we can, for some reason, if you have god blood in you, like if you're cord, half, full-blooded or whatever, if you have god blood in you, you can't die of age. Like you're immune to it, but you can die of everything else. Like that's the only like thing you get in terms of what is called biological advantages, if that's even a thing or even a name. And one thing about us being gods, like we don't call ourselves gods. Like, well, sure, we have the nickname the god race, but the other name we have for our race is the Guardians, which, well, it's kind of brave to call yourself a god, but well, that's how it is. And all the gods, like, let me tell you how it works. So every god who gets born, because we live like any other normal family, it's gotten to the point where it's kind of weird and ridiculous. Like, you can get a title, and yes, you do get a title, but you only like first experience it when you get like 5 years old or so, and you're actually very weak until you get to the age the age of like 13. So like imagine like this, like you're born in a race where everything has one thing, and that's the thing about the gods. We all, when you get born as a god, even if only have whatever, it doesn't matter. If you have god blood in you, you have the potential to earn a title, and that title is something that's given to you by whatever power you possess. Because when you get born, you get given randomly a power which you have the potential in perfecting no matter what. Like it's one power, you're not guaranteed, but you have the potential to be master. Like you have the potential to be almost like perfect at the thing very early on. So, well, that's kind of, okay, that's wrong. I meant it in like, when you are born as a guard race, or as a guardian, you get born with a power, and that power is guaranteed at some point in life. Like, you don't know when, because if you, well, you have to train, well, it's not gonna happen, but if you keep training in whatever field it is you're good at, or like whatever that power is, you are guaranteed to master it. But that doesn't mean just because you're mastering it, but you're gonna be OP, because it fully depends on what your power is, how it works, and all that stuff. So, and through the years, you get the title, like, of what you are. You can say what power you have, but you're not really getting the title before you have like trained, or not like being good at it, but you start training for some time and you get a title. Just like when you are adventuring out in the cave or hunting monsters in the dungeon, you earn a title by doing stuff slowly, and then you get like a better title later on. That's kind of how it works. I know it sounds weird, but that's how it worked in the world I was from. And the other thing, what is it? We all have this weird ability, but we can only use once, and it's not really that useful. Well, in a way it is, but it's basically that when you turn 15, you have the option from that point on to decide what year you want to look like forever. And mind you, this is forever. There's no go backs, there's no turn backs. So you can, when you turn 15, and it doesn't work in the way that you think, maybe, because maybe I'm not explaining this thoroughly, but what I'm trying to say is, when you get to the age of 15, you have the ability to choose at what age you keep looking that age. So if I'm 15 and let's say I want to be 13, sorry, not 15, 30. If I'm 15 and I say I want to be 30, nothing's gonna happen other than when I finally get to the age where I turn 30, I'm gonna just keep looking like that forever. And you might ask, well, what about the people who want to live for some weird reason to look like they are 10? Well, that's the only thing we can. We cannot get to the age under 15 because of some weird reason. So when you get to the age 15, you get to decide at what age you want to keep look like that. Like you want your body to look like you're always this age or whatever. And later on, I heard that you will be able to learn an ability just because some people would maybe get insane by the fact that they look like the same person forever, at least age-wise. Later on, we get the ability to use, not the ability, like we get, it's not like we're getting it, what's it called? Like we try to learn an ability which makes it possible for us to look another age in 24 hours. But we can only use it like once a year, and it, as I said, it only works for 24 hours, and it's more like a stress reliever thing someone has like found out you can do more than a thing you can actually use to cheat the system to get back in what age you was at the point where you decided what age you want to look like. So we have the option to have at least 24 hours a year where we can look like another person. And no, you cannot just say I want to look like this in an hour and then use another hour another day. That also doesn't work. When you use the ability, you are permanently for the next 24 hours gonna look like that age, no matter what, until those hours are up. And then when you hit that time limit, you instantly turn back to the age you looked like before you used the ability. So yeah, it's kind of weird. That's just some of them. There are also demons, which is also very, very different from what demons are normally. There's a lot of weird races and stuff, even races you haven't heard about before. I think, I don't know. So it's a weird thing, but I want to show you guys the two models because, as I said in the beginning, I made two models. This is one of the main characters, Anrex, in the manga, and then I made another character which is actually some of my better friends in this series, which is, funnily enough, Spvwvky. So I made her into the world, and keep in mind she was actually not originally from that dream world which I'm making a manga about. She got put into the story, but she had like a rule that was kind of similar as to what happened to me in the series. Like I had someone, though not in the same way, like I had someone who took care of me when I was a little kid in the world, because when I got to that specific world we felt connected to, I was in a different age. Like I was set back to like almost like reborn, but looked the same. So I had someone, and the funny thing is I cannot remember what that someone looked like, and I also just know that it was for a very short amount of time. I got babysit by that person for like, I think, I don't know, may not sound long, for like it's like 3 months I think, and then I was together with her like in 3 months, and then I got taken away, I think, or something like that. And I still can't remember to that day what she looked like, but I have made it so Spvwvky fills in that spot, because she's a guard and she got a, I don't know, babysit one of her family friends, I don't know, which was my father if I remember correctly, and because he needed to do some stuff, prepare for a war, whatever it was, I don't know. So yeah, there's a lot of different things going on, and probably still is if the world exists somewhere. So I made the two characters, so now I'm gonna shut up and I'm gonna show you guys right now what those two characters look like in full body scale, because obviously I can't move other than my head right now. So I'm gonna share the video now so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So this is the two characters. Oh, sorry, I didn't see that. I didn't see chat. Lick Rabbits, hi, what's up? I got so much into the story, but I forgot everything about checking the chat. I'm very stupid. But I'm gonna show you now what me and the other models look like. And obviously I'm working on other stuff right now. I'm making every character I can, and I kinda gotta dig to it. So this here, not much. What about you? Well, I've been working on a manga, on my manga, because well, I'm not gonna explain it again, but when this stream gets uploaded as a highlight, you can go back in the beginning of the stream and you can get an excellent explanation of how I came to be, because there's too much to explain. But in a very short explanation, I basically explained like how I got the name Enrix and like how I got my looks and all that, where I came from, all that stuff. And to explain it even more shortly, I basically just looked like this in my dream world. And I mean, like in real life, I go to bed, woke up, and like every single night I have like 3 to 4 dreams where I live in another world where I look like this. So like out of the 6 dreams, you can have up to 6 dreams, I think it is, every night. Every dream, like between like 3 to 4 dreams every night. I had a dream where I lived like another life as Enrix Sekai, and I lived like with 2 other girls, and well, yeah. So, but I'm not gonna explain it again because it's gonna take forever. So when this stream is done, like all the other streams, I'm gonna re-upload it into my Twitch as a highlight, so you can see the whole stream again if you want. So if you want to know what I'm talking about in more detail, just wait till the stream is over, whenever that comes, and then look in the beginning of the stream. But as I said before, I'm working right now on a manga series, which is basically just dictating, or like what is it called? It's pictating or dictating, I don't know. I'm basically just showing you guys through the manga what I've experienced, what I lived through, what I've done in those dreams. Like it's a very long story, and actually kind of epic too. And there's too much. But I'm basically making a manga where I'm cliche, I know, but I am the main character, and well, I'm one of 3 main characters, me and the 2 other girls. And right now I made 2 models on up to now. This one I'm using right now, Enrix Sekai, obviously, which I've actually redone because I didn't like my lips and I didn't like my hair, so it made my hair look like this, which I like way more better. And I made my friend Spvwvky into a character into the universe where she fits a role of a person I still don't know what looks like in the dream world, because in the dream world I had a babysitter because I was a child at once, and that babysitter literally just babysat me for like 3 months, which was someone who was a friend of my dad in the world, and I just made it so Spvwvky got the role of that. So, and also in the series we have 2 ages, like gods have 2 ages. We have a soul age, and we have our biological age, like what we look like. In the series I always look like an 18, 19 years old person, like what I look like now, which is also the age I choose, because we have the power to choose that, what I look like forever. And in what was and well, I don't know, I think she looks kind of like to the same age or so, but the thing is, I was trying to explain is, though we might look like we are like what, 18, 19 years old, or maybe someone even looks like they're 60, I don't know, we have a soul age, and by that I mean, in the series, we basically, gods is not only like a race, like we basically get reborn infinitely, like all the ways, we get reborn or reincarnated, I mean, like in many different worlds. And the thing about the gods is, we have like a soul which can keep on being reincarnated, in the sense that every life we lived, we remember everything about our past lives, and we also remember everything like we have learned and stuff like that. Mostly what we have learned is what we are explaining in the story, but not really much about the past. But and then suddenly we actually got to a point, me and Spvwvky, where we got reborn into a race where we cannot die of age, but we can die of everything else. So in that sense, we kind of immortal, but we are not immortal. So whatever. But yeah, enough of that. Now I'm actually gonna show you guys what me and Propsia looks like, and I'm gonna shut up so I can continue all the next thing I need to do on screen. So here is Propsia and